I suspect that my friends with benefits has feelings for me, and I told her that I don't share her feelings, but I think it was the worst decision of my life. So, about 6 months ago, I went out for drinks with some friends, one of whom was Chris. Chris and I have known each other since middle school. She got wasted and was being flirted with by another guy in the group who was sober, which set alarm bells off for me. So, when we were all walking to our apartments and he lingered instead of going to mine, I ended up crashing on her couch. The next morning, while we were having breakfast, she admitted that she found me cute, appreciated what I did the night before, and wanted to know if I'd be up for a friends with benefits situation. Ever since, we've been just that. We had both just gotten out of relationships then, and surprisingly, this friends with benefits situation resulted in us becoming close friends. Well, before, we had a pretty strict no staying the night rule because, for her, that felt like a step beyond friends with benefits, but late last month she asked if I'd be willing to stay the night because I just really need someone to cuddle with tonight, and I didn't think anything of it and obliged. But now it has become that every time we do it, one of us ends up staying the night at the other's apartment. She's also been making more overtly flirty comments towards me when we're with friends, which was another rule we had because we wanted to keep things private. The problem is, I don't know that I share her feelings. She's amazing, don't get me wrong, beautiful. I can't undersell this. I work in a field where I work with models regularly, and most of them do not compare. No idea why she picked me, of all people, brilliant, driven, and one of the kindest people I know. I think she's one of those people that you're lucky to meet even one of in your whole life. I know once feelings get involved, there's no real going back to strict friends with benefits, but I also would rather get buried alive than hurt her. So I would love advice on how to handle this. Update: I called her and told her I suspected she had feelings. I was right. I informed her that I didn't have feelings and wasn't ready for a relationship out of panic. Thankfully, it was therapy day. I talked things out with my therapist about how I have serious fears about getting back into a relationship, how those fears made me react way too quickly, and how now that things potentially collapsed, I've re-examined how I feel about her. After therapy, I just let myself sit with things for a while. Then I called her. The call went to voicemail, so I texted her to let her know I wanted to talk and preferred to do it in person if she was willing. She replied and said she was willing to meet for dinner to hear me out. I explained how my last relationship messed me up and how that made me panic when I realized she had feelings, leading me to act before I even gave myself time to process. Then I told her how I really felt. That her voice is my favorite sound, how her smile is what I see when I close my eyes, all of it, and most importantly, that if she was willing to be patient with me, I wanted to give us a shot. Update 2. I just got home after spending basically all day yesterday and part of today with her. On a scale of 1 to 10, the date was an 11. The day after my last update, she and I had a long call while she was on lunch from her job. It wasn't really about anything specific, but I made up the excuse that I was doing photography at a local greenhouse later that day to steer the conversation to flowers. I found out her favorite flower was lilies, and lucky for me, I already knew her favorite color was pink. So I picked up a bouquet of pink lilies that day and had them waiting. Then came Saturday. I arrived at her apartment, and I swear, nothing could have prepared me for the moment she opened the door. I've photographed models on a Miami beach at sunset, landscapes in Iceland and Ireland, and even a wedding at a small vineyard in Italy. I thought I had a pretty good grasp of beauty based on my experience, but the second she opened the door, my definition changed. Her eyes were the first thing I noticed. Of course, the first thing I noticed was how they were like beautiful ice crystals, highlighted by this gorgeous tan dress, and the way her hair framed her face. Her smile when she saw the flowers made me freeze completely. I literally turned into a stuttering mess. I've never had that happen in my life. I'm usually confident and hard to fluster, but this outstanding human being did it without trying. I made a reservation at an upscale Italian restaurant in our city. The food was pretty good, but I was too distracted by her to care much about whether it was good. She does this cute thing where she apologizes for info dumping, and when I encourage her to keep going because I love hearing her talk, she bobs her head back and forth. It's a bit like watching a penguin dance. I don't know how else to explain it, but it makes me smile whenever she does it. After that, we walked a block to a bar because they had live music. I asked her if she wanted to dance with me, and we did. And then it happened. She kissed me. It's weird, we'd made out before, but it felt different this time. It was like the lights dimmed around us, and everyone else disappeared for a moment. It was just us in each other's arms. I ended up staying the night with her, and today we just laid in bed until around 1 p.m., chatting and cuddling. After we finally got up, we went to get lunch together. We discussed what we both want for our future. We both want kids, and we both agreed that we wanted to adopt at least one of them to pull a kid out of the system and give them a good life. Our goals really seemed to align well. The only difference was that she apparently wants a spring wedding. I always planned on getting married in the fall because of photo opportunities. Guess I'm having a spring wedding.